All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome in. It has turned out to be quite the active night, I think, or evening, I should say. So I thought I'd start with the radar, of course. And again, those of you on Instagram, thank you for tuning in. I have a separate chat monitor for you. So if you have a question on Instagram, hit me up. All right. So since the early afternoon, we've had these storms strengthening really north of us in in Grayson and uh, Cook County, and they've kind of gradually made their way down. Now, as you can see, there's not a solid line or anything. These are good old fashioned supercells. Now, these supercells, while they're still warned, have definitely have weakened some in the past 30 minutes. So let's take them one by one. We'll zoom in here a little bit on the Denton County storm. This is severe warn. It's severe warn for inch hail. The hail earlier was about 2 inches in diameter, so it's definitely come down. I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if the hail's less than 1 inch now. 65-mile-an-hour wind gusts. That threat may actually increase because as these storms transition from a hail to a wind threat, sometimes the wind as a hail core collapses, sometimes that will increase the wind threat. So that's the reason for the warning to 65 miles an hour, just above the normal threshold for 60. And then the other storm, which is also weakened quite a bit, excuse me, is in eastern Collin County. And the warning extends technically into Wiley. I don't see that being a big deal right now. Again, this is warned for inch and a quarter hail. This hail is a little bit bigger, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, not quite the wind threat that this is, the Denton County storm was, but it's something that we definitely got to keep an eye on. And if we zoom out, you can see it's not the only game in town. We do see some showers and thunderstorms, not really special weather statements on them, but nothing severe at the moment. That's more of a line, but even that line is not exactly solid. So, but you can get again, you can see the general trend just to the east, southeast, I guess you could say. So, if these storms hold together, then most of the metroplex, not everybody, most of the metroplex will see some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Hopefully, nothing severe. They've come down quite a bit since their initial formation in the earlier afternoon hours. Not to say they can't re-intensify, but typically when we get into this part of the year in the fall, you lose the daytime heating. You don't see near the intensity into the evening hours unless you have a bigger disturbance, and we don't have that right now. So that's good news. Okay, so let's stop this here. And if you have a question, comment in the chat. Let me know what you think. And speak of that, Stephanie, do you think Sax will actually get some rain this evening? Well, I hope so. I hope we don't get anything else, Stephanie. Thank you for tuning in, by the way. It all really depends because if and this is always tricky when I try to get my drawing tool to work in this, and it's already not doing what I don't want it to do. So let's try this again real quick. That's not going to work. Why? There we go. They changed. Every time they update something, they change everything. So here we go. All right. So like I said, this semi line right here, there are gaps in the line, but it's basically moving this way. So if it does hold together, we might get some rain, and it's about 10 till 7 right now. So that would probably put it into Saxy 8-ish, maybe a little bit after that if it held together, which I don't want the severe weather to come with it, but I'll definitely take the rain. It's not terribly dry or anything, but it's been about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks since it's rained. So at least in our neck of the woods. So definitely would take that. Thank you, Stephanie, for your question. Thank you for tuning in. All right. So let's go zoom back in a little bit. We'll put this in motion, and I'll talk about the pink shaded areas in just a second. Pink, purple. So again, you can see the general motion is east, southeast. These cells that are to the west, even the special weather statement got taken out. So they're definitely not increasing in strength. They're just good old fashioned what we call multi-cells, thunderstorms. These over here, as you can see, used to have the bright pinks with it, and that is something that you're not seeing much anymore with those cells, which is good. You don't really see any bright pinks anymore with these cells. Now there's still severe warned, and I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, if these I was just looking at the spotter chat. If in National Weather Service chat, if they continue to weaken, they at the very least they won't extend them. But they have pulsed up and down sometimes, so that would get you. They don't really want to cancel them too early because if they pulse back up, they just have to reissue it, and that becomes a confusing message, and you don't want that. So let's look at some graphics real quick. So this is a severe thunderstorm watch. This was issued earlier this afternoon until 10 p.m. If the overall trend continues, they may cancel it early. Kind of a little too early to talk about that, but again, most of the activity was expected to be, as you can tell from the watch, northwest of Dallas Fort Worth. Hail 2 inches in 2 inch in diameter is possible, which we've already seen some of those reports. Wind to 70 miles an hour, we've seen that. The Sherman Denison Airport recorded a 72-mile-an-hour wind gust earlier in the afternoon. Obviously, a lot of lightning with these storms. So if you happen to have outdoor activities, even though the storms are right on top of the metroplex, these anvil clouds that you're seeing in the sky, they could definitely produce lightning. So that's what you got to watch out for. And as far as overall timing, this is a graphic that the National Weather Service put out, a couple hours ago. Actually, I guess they put it out this morning. I'm just looking at it. So they were expecting these storms to move through between 6 and 9 p.m. So they kind of nailed it, I think. And again, if they hold together off to the southeast of Dallas Fort Worth between 9 and midnight, and then things will start to calm down a little bit. But again, the main threats are hail, gusty winds, frequent lightning. Could see some heavy rain if you're under one of those cords for any length of time, but not really expecting any flooding issues, that's for sure. All right, so let's go back to the radar here and see what we got going on. Excuse me. All right, so we still have the severe thunderstorm warnings, but like I said, they're on the downward trend. Doesn't mean they can't pulse up. So let's zoom in a little bit on these two storms in particular. So it's Corinth right here, Hickory Creek, Highland Village, Louisville down here a little bit, Little Elm, Prosper, McKinney. So we kind of have really, and we'll see if this holds together as far as how the storms behave. Really kind of have this, if I could draw, have this little slot right here to where if these storms keep moving the way they're moving, then anything you see between those blue lines would probably stay away from anything heavy. But again, it's something that could change pretty quickly. But right now we're not seeing that. Let me take that drawing tool off. All right. So again, you can see this motion. So this storm up in Collin County is definitely weakening. I would not be surprised if they cancel this warning early. Same thing with this warning over here. Although this storm looks this Denton County storm looks a little healthier than this one did. or does. So, if nothing else, they'll probably keep them both going a little bit longer. Matter of fact, when do these expire? The Denton County store 7:45. Yeah, don't know if it's gonna make it that far. Collin County warning goes until 7:45 also. Okay. So wouldn't be that's still another, they're not moving very fast. So still another 45 minutes or so. I would think that they'll give it another 15 minutes and see if they're worth canceling those warnings early. But the good news is, as far as the severe weather part of it, is that they're not intensifying. So that's definitely good news. All right, so let's see. Let's expand this back out a little bit. Don't see anything in the chat at the moment. So, again, if you're watching, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. So, overall, like I said, not a classic springtime weather situation in that sense. And hello, Miss Fitzgerald. Is it going to make it to our area, or will it go around? Yeah, so something will make it to our area. I think it just depends on where you're at if it goes around. But as I was putting the radar into motion earlier, it's this little line, if it holds together, is going to sweep through the metroplex. Now, whether it holds together or not, that's a whole other thing. So I think most of us, not all of us, but I think most of us will see maybe something, maybe not very measurable in some cases. And then, but if you're under one of those cores, then you could definitely see a brief heavy downpour. I'm going to expand the radar out here a little bit and see. Got some development back here. That's out near, where is that? Northwest of Jacksboro, northwest of Graham. And we put that in motion. I think, yeah, nothing too crazy as far as intensity, that's for sure. But, still got some rising air out that way to where these storms are going to form. Let's see what they say right here. Let's see. Yeah, nothing new there. All right. We'll zoom back in. And I think we got one of our storm chasers in this area, Mr. Cooley. Where's he at? Oh, he's on George Bush. Okay. Yeah. So nothing too crazy where he is. Jason Cooley's a good dude. So anyway. Just saw him. I saw his beacon on the map. Okay. Hello, AJ. Thank you for tuning in. Hope it gets rain. Me too. I was talking about that earlier. Don't any of the severe weather, but it definitely takes some rain. Hopefully, we will get that. And same thing, Rebecca. I'll take anything we get. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. That's what we want out of this. We don't want the severe weather. We don't want anything like that. All right, so I'm gonna go look over on my Instagram and look at that. Miss Paula Smith is on the comment page. Thank you, Paula. Will it come as, I can't put those on the screen, by the way. Will it come as far as Roanoke? I can't find my city on the maps. Well, let's do Miss Paula a favor here. Let's see if we can't get Roanoke on the maps. All right, so I know it's kind of busy, Paula, but I'll get my drawing tool back on here and show exactly where you are. All right. And okay, so there's Roanoke. All right, there you go, Paula. So now we're going to zoom out. Yeah, I can't do it unless I get rid of this. Yeah, there we go. All right, so there you go. So it's kind of a big circle, but so we're going to put this in motion. And again, as I've talked about, you can see this line moving your way. Now it's kind of morphed off and on back, solid line, not so solid line. So I would say, Paula, if it holds together long enough to reach you, you're probably talking 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour at the other end. So nothing severe. And then the severe thunderstorm warning that clips Roanoke, just barely to the east. That's, put that in motion. That's going to, unless something really crazy happens, that's going to go east of you. You might get a good show out of it. That's for sure. And yeah, that's not going to hit you, but the line to the west of you might. So let's get that drawing back off there because I want to talk about something I just saw. There we go. All right, so I'll put this back in motion and Should see a little bit of intensity building up here at the last couple radar scans. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so this right here is again nothing severe, but something that's bears watching. So this is way out west. Well, not way out west, but south of Decatur, Boyd, out near Rome. Definitely headed your way in the western part of the Metroplex if it holds together. As you can see, they got rid of the warning on the Collin County storm, which is not surprising because that one you could tell was weakening. Even looking at satellite, you could tell like cloud tops were not going as high. All right, let's see. So, like I said, the weather service canceled the Collin County warning early, which I thought they would. I wouldn't be now. Let's see. This would be basically the Tarrant County, Denton County, far northeast Tarrant County, and northwest Dallas County. That warning is still going. That goes till 7:45. I don't know that they're going to keep that much longer, although it's kind of getting its act together a little bit. So, what the good news is for AJ and Rebecca and even Stephanie that commented earlier is that will we get some rain out of this? And it's looking a little more promising. And I'm going to tell you why in just a second. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. So this is the Saxe area, Garland, Wiley, Murphy. So I'm going to put this in motion. So this cell that was really intense just north of Denton has definitely weakened, even though they're not quite ready to get rid of that warning yet. But what I would point to, and I'll let this run through one more time, as far as rain goes, is this little intense growing precipitation signature that's now approaching just south of the Sam Houston Tollway. That has grown nothing crazy from intensity standpoint, but that has grown more in the last few frames, and that's not surprising because when these cores collapse, they do tend to bring some outflow out ahead of them, and that will cause the air to rise, and sometimes we get that. So from a rain standpoint, this is promising. And like I said, we don't want anything severe with this, but right now this looks like looks promising from a rain standpoint. So that's good news. Last couple scans, we have seen a little core trying to go up right there just southwest of 380 and US 75. Don't know if that's going to do anything, but definitely worth watching, that's for sure. But again, this is kind of the leading edge. That's probably the more intense, other than light rain, is probably right there, and definitely moving east southeast. So again, Saxe being right here, Richardson and Garland, and yeah. All right, so let's zoom back out here. And we'll let that scan. Yeah, that one, that updraft that popped up southeast of 380 and 75 hasn't really gone crazy, so that's good. But definitely would take the rain to go with it. And AJ, hearing thunder, yes. I'm not surprised. Again, in the Garland Saxe area, we're not that close to these cores. But like I said, I don't know if for sure is what you heard, but there is lightning in anvils that are over us, and that's why you might have heard a cloud strike in the anvil. Might have been what you heard. But either way, like I always say, if you hear thunder, the old saying, if it roars, goes indoors, because if you can hear thunder, you can get struck by lightning. That's for sure. Okay, back over to Instagram. DTX _ Carl's 3S. I think I'm saying that right. Will there be any tornadoes? There will not be any tornadoes. So not a setup for tornadoes. When the Storm Prediction Center issued their outlook earlier today, no mention of tornadoes, although it's always less than 2% in these situations, but not really a tornado threat at all. If you went back and looked at their report, hail was a bigger concern, and some wind, but hail was a bigger concern. And like I said, those storms that we had north of Denton early on did have reports of 2-inch hail in them. So it is something that was definitely warranted. And I think the Storm Prediction Center nailed it on that one, as there was definitely a hail threat. And that's what happened for some of us. Thankfully, not anything too widespread. So, All right. Let's put this back in motion, see what we got going on. I would say overall, the severe weather threat is diminishing, although these storms can definitely surprise us and pop up. So it's, not all clear by any means, but we're not seeing the intense hail quarters that we saw earlier. So um, that is definitely good news. Now, as we talked about before, do we, excuse me, do we want to see rain out of these? Yes, we would definitely want to see rain out of these, not the bad weather. And I think some of us will get that. All right, so before we'll let the radar go a few more scans, but just to kind of go over the rest of the week. So I'm gonna go back to this graphic again. If you're just joining us, this is the timing 6 to 9 p.m. This is right across DFW, which is right where we're at. The hazards are lightning, uh, hail, all the hail threats really come down and gusty winds. So that's the main hazard. Now, as far as the rest of the week goes, got some good news. So we have a cold front that's right now is scheduled to come in Tuesday evening, maybe Wednesday morning. The timing's a little off as far as the models, but it will be cooler. So it's not going to be true fall, anything like that. So don't get too excited. But we've had these temperatures in the 90s the last several days. So starting on, and we'll probably see that the next 2 days, tomorrow and Tuesday. But starting on Wednesday and into Friday, temperatures in the mid 80s, which and the humidity will be lower, so it'll definitely feel better. So that's something we could definitely look forward to if it holds together. Like I said, not a true fall front. This is not the first true cold front for the fall. However, it's better than nothing. I would definitely say that. All right, so let's go back to the radar. Well, and again, if you're just joining this, um, we have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for DFW north and west until 10 p.m. If things don't get too crazy between now and then, I mean, they probably won't cancel it early, although they might. But right now, that's still in effect, unless all these storms fall apart, they'll keep it going. Okay, so here's the current radar, and we're going to get a scan. So that's good. So we'll get the most up to date scan here. Yeah, and so we'll put this in motion. I would say, again, the general motion is east southeast, as you can see, and that line, if you will, out to the west is not. It's not a line that's going to stay together the whole time, or be solid the whole time. But hopefully it'll hang together enough to where everybody will at least get some rain out of it. And we'll do this one more time. And again, you can see the reflectivity signatures getting stronger in this part of the storm right here. And again, just to give you an idea, Saxy's right here, Garland's down there, Wiley, Allen, and Plano, Richardson, and put this in motion. Unless something really falls apart, we'll get some rain out of it. Now, it's crazy sometimes how these things want to tease us and fall apart, but hopefully they won't. Okay, with that, probably not a whole much more to talk about since looks like so they just canceled the one severe thunderstorm warning we had left, which is good news. Definitely good news. So hopefully these will be nothing but good old fashioned rain producers and get a little rain out of it. And then not tomorrow or Tuesday, but starting on Wednesday, we will definitely see cooler temperatures, relatively speaking, at highest in the mid 80s as opposed to lower 90s and less humidity. So that helps. So, okay. So I don't see anything else in the chat. So I will go ahead and sign off. Let me check Instagram real quick. And don't see anything over there. Thank you, Instagram buddies, for watching. And of course, thank you, everybody, for watching. I really appreciate you tuning in. And if you see this on Facebook or YouTube or whatever platform you're watching on, just hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed to something, just hit subscribe, especially on YouTube. And that definitely helps the algorithm and definitely helps get this out to more people that can watch it. Oh, we got one comment here real quick, and that's from Kara. Um, 'Cause, 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 I think she's doing that. I think her avatar is teasing me on purpose, but that's okay. I still love her. When the thunderstorm warning goes out, is that for the county? The one that was first until 7:45. Yeah, that's actually a great question, Kara. So back in the old days when they issued severe thunderstorm warnings, they always did it for the whole county because they didn't have a way to kind of segment that into different parts of the county. But it is different now. They do it by polygons, and polygons can spread over two counties, carve up part of a county. So that warning that we had, and if you live in Dallas County or in Collin County or really any of these counties that had warnings earlier, even though like the one we just had canceled that was for Northwest Dallas County, based on how some people alert, you will get an alert saying that there's a severe thunderstorm warning for Dallas County. Those alerts aren't quite as exact as the weather service polygon. So that's why it's always good, to check the weather service, if check to see if I'm streaming. So the warning and they usually what the weather service does is like this last one, they'll say, well, for Northwest Dallas County, we live in us here. It's actually living in Northeast Dallas County. So while that polygon didn't affect Saxony, some of the warning systems can't delineate between the polygon part of the county and the whole county. So you'll get that warning if that's where we're going with that. So back in old days, it used to be the whole county, and now it's just segments of county, which is good because again, they're trying to be more accurate with that. If it's not your part of the county, they don't want you to take any actions, but they just want you to be aware that obviously it's pretty close. Let's see. Oh yes, I love my sexy band people on Instagram. Is it going to snow? No, it's not going to snow. You are my role model. Thank you. I love my Mustang band kids. Okay, so I hope that answered your question, Kara. With that, yes, and awesome. Yeah, appreciate you, Kara. Thank you for watching. So, bottom line is this: as I leave you, it is something that severe weather threat it's not zero yet. These storms have wanted to pulse up and down, but these aren't the supercell structure storms that we saw earlier. So chance, especially with this cluster of storms, which is in Collin and Denton County right now, about to enter into Tarrant and Dallas County. Not really thinking that's going to be the case. So what you most likely will expect, if you're in Northeast Tarrant County, Northern Dallas County, Southern Collin County, is just some good old fashioned thunderstorms, and hopefully get some rain out of it. So, but if something crazy comes along, I should say, and I feel like I need to come back on, I definitely will. But I think it's going to be a relatively quiet night, and hopefully we get some just good old fashioned rain out of it, and more importantly, get cooler temperatures later in the week. So that's something I'm looking forward to. Okay, I don't see anything else in the chat, Instagram, or otherwise, so I will sign off. And as always, I'm watching weather, so you don't have to. Thank you so much for everybody that watches. Keep watching, and the next time we have severe weather in the area, I will be back on to tell you all about it. Have a great evening, everyone, and we'll see you on the next one.